ladies and gentlemen, it is time to go to our women's singles semi-finals. It's Netherlands via England in our first one. Would you please welcome first on stage the reigning Belgium and Denmark Open champion from the Netherlands, Lynn van Leuven. And Lynn's opponent is from England. She is the reigning World Match Play, World Masters and World Champion. Please welcome Bow and Arrow, Beau Greaves.
A warm welcome to everyone watching from home. This is the first of the two semi-finals in the WDF World Cup Women's Singles Championship. This one will be a match between England's Beau Greaves and Lynn van Leuven from Holland. And by my side once again I've got Andrew Sinclair. And Andrew, this is a match that, well, we say this every time, but I have been looking forward to it, and I know that you have as well.
Yeah, this is on paper going to be a very strong semi-final. Both these players are playing really well at the moment. Of course, Beau she wins everything, basically, and when she doesn't win, it's a bit of a surprise. But Lynn's been playing some really good stuff. And she actually won the Denmark Open, you know, here in this venue earlier in the year, which has qualified her for Lakeside next year, which obviously is a cool milestone for her. Not played on the stage this week though, which obviously we saw Beau do yesterday in the women's pairs. But these two have played a few times on the tour this year. I remember specifically they played at the, I think it was the Welsh Classic, and Beau averaged, you know, over 100. Or whatever it was, and beating her. So Beau's probably got the edge in the head-to-head, but you know, she's got the edge in the head-to-head against most people. So yeah, this should be a really good game. Beau was on the floor games the other day. She was absolutely fantastic. You know, a couple of 100 averages. She dropped one leg all day, and that was in the quarterfinals against Mayu Aoki of Japan. Lynn was impressive, but you know, not quite as impressive as a couple of 100 averages, just blasting through everyone. Not the strongest up from either player here, but that 1-3-5 from Lynn certainly puts a dent in her score, but not on a finish just yet.
As you just said, these two players have played each other on multiple occasions. The last time, I think, was at the Women's World Match Play, where Beau, she really showed her experience in that match. I remember it very well. A highly anticipated match where it became quite clear that Beau is more used to be on a stage, even though she's only 19 years old. That's still just incredible to me. Here as she misses narrowly the 164 finish. Then Noah Lynn has a chance on 100. Now double tops.
In two, wow. Good finish there from Van Leuven, who takes the first leg. This semi-final, best of 11 legs, just like the boys' final we saw a little bit earlier on, which actually is a lot longer than the women are used to playing on the WDF circuit. You know, most tournaments are best of 9 in the final, so this is longer than they would be used to, and the final, I believe, is best of 13. So, you know, this is a slightly longer game, which obviously I know a lot of the women are passionate about, getting longer games and kind of more opportunities on the stage, on television, but, you know, in longer formats to show what they're really capable of. So this should be a good one.
And even though she's in front 1-0, I feel like Noah Lynn just had some early stage nerves, but already at this point of the match, it seems like she's settled. So this promises really good for the next 10-15 minutes or however long this will take.
Yeah, Beau's not really at her free-flowing best at the moment. There's a little bit of rustiness in the women's pairs final last night as well, but I just think it was a long day with the team competition. But yeah, she's not necessarily finding the trebles as regularly as she normally does through this first sort of 1.5 legs. I say that, and she finds a treble 19. So what do I know?
This would really fire her up if she can hit the 2 trebles, which she can, and that means that Noah Lynn will have a chance here at the 122. She will start by aiming for the treble 18. That's still the target, even though that was kind of a wild dart.
Yeah, a couple of loose ones there, only 26, so Beau's now in the driving seat after kind of being a long way behind for a portion of this leg. And takes out 70. Clinical for the world champion.
Yeah, and sometimes that's just what you need to get started. It's not necessarily about starting to hit your trebles, it's just about hitting that double in your first try, and that can often settle your nerves and just give you a much more relaxed throw. And I think this is what we can expect from now on.
Yeah, and talking of throws, I think, you know, Beau's action is widely regarded as you know, one of the best in the world. And I remember talking to Tony O'Shea about Beau's throw, and, you know, the thing he said to me was, it's the fact she's always so composed with her third dart. She never throws away the third dart. It's never, you know, chucked away in a loose fashion. You know, and you'll often see on doubles, she'll take a little pause. Not quite the full rod cross, but, you know, she will take a little moment to think, where do I need to put this?
That's extremely unlucky. That was clearly inside the treble 20, but that is what happens sometimes.
Yes, doesn't happen to me very often, because I don't normally get 3 in the same bed, unless it's, you know, treble 1. But, you know, that third dart on her finishes is always, you know, poised. There's no wasted motion. There's nothing, you know, mechanically with her throw that can go wrong. But, you know, Noah Lynn has a very good throw as well. That's something, you know, watching her play in the floor games, you know, I observed her throw a lot more closely than I have before. And it's a nice, natural flowing action. So it's no surprise that, you know, she's really come on, you know, on the women's circuit. Particularly this year, you know, started to break through a little bit last year, but this year, you know, picked up you know, the Danish Open title, as we mentioned, but also won a trophy in Belgium as well. So playing some good darts, and, you know, wasn't, you know, well, is playing at Lakeside next year, and is at the moment she's in that kind of first reserve spot should anyone drop out of the current field for Lakeside. So potentially we'll see her this December, but definitely will be next year, which is a good thing. Beau not able to take out this 106, but the big treble with her last start leaves her on 8, so puts a bit of pressure on this double 8 for Noah Lynn.
And it's easy to say, but these really are the chances that you expect Noah Lynn to use if she wants to stay in the competition.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing. Beau is just so relentless. You know, she's such a strong scorer. She takes out those big finishes. If you get opportunities against a player of her quality, you have to take them. Because if you don't, you're not going to get opportunities in every leg. So you have to convert the ones you do get. Noah Lynn did that in that first leg with that lovely ton finish, but that leg a bit off the mark, and now she finds herself behind and a break behind. So already work to do in this semi-final. Flight on the floor, but a big cheer for the first 180 of the match.
And then again, this is what we expected. Beau Greaves in the front seat so far. And if you have a closer look at the women's game right now, you have these players like Beau, of course, but also Lisa Ashton and Fallon Sherrock, who just seem to be levels above the rest. Not to mention Mikuru Suzuki, of course, who is doing extremely well. But then you have these, I wouldn't say second-tier players, but like Noah Lynn, like Lorraine Winstanley, Eileen de Graaf, Anastasia Bobomislova, Dita Hedman even, who is just that tiny bit behind the others. So I'm very excited to see if Noah Lynn, she's still young, if she has the potential to, well, follow the footsteps of these really top-tier female players.
No, absolutely. I certainly think she's going to be in that mix in the years to come. The scoring is definitely there. I think it's the experience is the main thing. You know, still fairly new to the tour. There we go. 2 180s in the leg. Beau eventually takes out an 18. Now leads 3-1 in the semi-final. But yeah, I think there's still it's a learning curve. I think, the WDF circuit is tough because, the floor tournaments are long days. You play a lot of games. And really, you often get, when you go to countries, there are often a lot of players who don't travel, but are very strong. You could go to Belgium and you play someone like a Katie Claris or a Patricia de Poyter, who don't travel, but are very, very tough players, are very good players. You could draw them in the first round because they're unseeded. So it's a tough one. So, I think she's still learning with the stage experience, how to manage the nerves, how to manage the pressure that she's obviously under. But she's getting there, and I think that Denmark Open win is hugely significant for her because it was I can do it. I'm not going to let the nerves get the better of me. I can win something. And then qualifying for the Women's World Match Play was another, okay, now I'm playing on TV. She's starting to tick off the milestone and be composed. And, on the floor the other day, she was really, really strong and, is here on merit. But you're up against, the woman, it often seems, can't be beaten. So, you've got to play almost twice as well as you would against anyone else to be able to beat her.
And she is playing extremely well in this leg. 20 after 15 darts. So this is to hold her own throw, make it 2-3. And she may not get another chance.
And she doesn't, because Beau takes out 96 with that final dart. So it's now 4-1 and a double break for the reigning world champion, who it's obviously a big moment for the WDF earlier this week that, you know, we were able to announce that Beau will be playing at Lakeside this December rather than Alexandra Palace. A tough decision for her to make, a tough decision for all of the players to make, you know. But they've been put in that position. They had to make a decision, and Beau decided, you know what, I'm young, I'm 19, and to me, at this moment in time, defending my world title, that's what I want to do. So, you know, the WDF are delighted that she'll be there, and you know, she's going to be the woman to beat when everybody turns up to Lakeside on the 2nd of December.
As you just said, that's just a huge decision for her. So I've seen on social media a lot of opinions about this, but I'm not sure that really is the right decision. I mean, there's two sides of every story, and no matter what decision she made, I would have fully understood her, her decision, and I will very much look forward to see her try and defend her world title.
Yeah, no, it's a tough position to be in for any player, but you know, she's taken the decision that she feels is right for her, and I think, you know, it's important to remember that, you know, not that long ago, you know, barely a year before she won the world title, she was battling crippling dartitis, you know, really, really struggling. You know, I remember being at the England Open and seeing her, you know, really struggle and really emotional about darts. And I think, you know, when I've spoken to her, her mantra has always been, I want to enjoy myself playing darts, and I don't want to, you know, not necessarily overburden herself with expectation, but she wants to enjoy what she's doing. And for her, you know, as she moves 5-1 up in this semi-final, you know, for her, retaining her world title, or trying to retain her world title, is the thing that's motivating her, and that's what she's enjoying doing. But she's also enjoying playing the women's series. So, you know, I think for her, this feels right, so that's what she's going to go with. But, you know, in the future, of course, if she continues playing the way she is, it's going to be hard to deny that she probably should be, you know, in a position to mix it up with the male players on that PDC circuit. So, you know, time will tell, but, you know, she's made that decision, and, you know, all the respects in the world to her for doing that, because, you know, it wasn't easy, and she had a little bit more time to make the decision, but I think being here at the World Cup kind of cemented everything for her. But Noah Lynn, big 180 in this leg, doesn't necessarily capitalise, but Beau is a long way behind, and unless she finds a treble here, she does, Noah Lynn's still got a healthy advantage in this leg as she attempts to claw back the deficit. So very good leggers from the Dutch woman. A 180 and a 171 down to 20 after 12 darts.
There's still mountains to climb even after this second leg for Noah Lynn van Leuven. But I mean, if you have a look at the stats, then Noah is actually playing with an 81 average, while Beau is averaging 74. So she must be feeling like, I have had my opportunities. I know that Beau isn't playing her A game, and then that must be so frustrating when you're still 3 legs behind.
Yeah.
But it's not decided yet. She still has the opportunity to win from here, even though it's obviously a very, very big mountain to climb.
Yes, but even if she does suffer defeat in this game, I'm sure she will be able, and the Dutch team will be able to take positives from her performance, in that she's had chances in legs and just not been able to take them. But I think it's having those chances against someone like Beau is almost as important as winning or whatever. Because if you get the chances, you're like, okay, well, I know I'm good enough to hang with her in the scoring department. And if I get those chances in the future, it's just about making sure I take them next time. So, you know, she's playing well in this leg, but Beau's looking to fill it up.
She is playing well, but also made a kind of a mistake here, leaving 1-6-8. So that means, even though she didn't have any trouble, she didn't even have a chance of finishing this leg. But instead, Beau Greaves, with a couple of match starts here, which is what she needs. And that means that Beau Greaves is through to the Women's World Cup single final. In just a few moments, we will know who will be her opponent in the final. We are going to send these two players off the stage, and then the next semi-final will be a match between Dita Hedman from England, of course, and Kirsi Venikainen from Finland. So here, as the crowd is putting their hands together in celebration of Beau Greaves, we're going to give the word to our MC, Christian Sørensen, who is in a few moments going to give the microphone away again, and then we're going to see the next two semi-finalists.